this topic, virtual real estate, is a big one, but I'm not going to go super deep into it because it is still so early, right? Virtual real estate right now, this is Decentraland. It's a platform that is just, just getting started. They actually have been around for a few years. They launched a token. They launched a cryptocurrency. And the idea is like you buy plots of land in the metaverse. Again, it's not the metaverse because it's not connected to anything. It's a game. So it's really not the metaverse yet, even though we would like aspire to be that someday. But as you guys all know, like if this is what virtual real estate looks like, I don't know how people will sell it because it's not very visually compelling. It's all about location, like, oh, I'm close to the Vodafone shop. I guess that's convenient. But it will matter if people go there. And here's the other thing I noticed was like, look, this is their marketplace. So this is how they're trying to sell it. And I'm not trying to necessarily critique it. I'm just saying that like we all know what Zillow and Redfin and the MLS look like. And so this to me is like, how in the world would you know what the value of this is? So will there be a Zillow or a Redfin for virtual real estate in the future? Like 100% there will be. But right now it looks like this. So it's just still very early. Will there be somebody in this room or the next generation of photographers that come after, we've been doing this a few more years? Will there be clientele that are like, I have to have a digital twin of my property, and I want to put it in my, on my land that I bought in Decentraland because I want to have my friends visit me there in some virtual experience or to host an event. And I think that will happen. So there will be digital or like virtual real estate photographers. But right now it's not I wouldn't run out and say that this is your business plan. But I think it's cool. Now this is like one of the things that I wasn't originally going to talk about this, but it won me over because I felt like, oh my goodness, this is going to transform things for us so quickly. And it's this is like one of the things that I wasn't originally going to talk about this, but it won me over because I felt like, oh my goodness, this is going to transform things for us so quickly. And it's part of the next wave of that internet, right? How the internet will adapt and change is that artificial intelligence, like that ad we saw earlier, was it second floor? They had artificial intelligence was mapping and doing like plane detection of the cabinets, These artificial intelligence algorithms are built into so many things. So it's kind of coming up in ways that you kind of subtly see, but you don't really know until it's here, like what's happening. So we're going to go into this for a second. So we're back at the JPEG. And I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do with this JPEG to see what can happen with it in a mashup kind of way? So I went on to an artificial intelligence website and where you can create generative images from an original image. So I uploaded the image, and this was the response. I was actually on a call with Brandon, and I was like, all right, let me show this to you. This is really cool. And as you can see, like, here's the original image, and these are all iterations of that image. And I feel like, has anybody seen these? You've seen these on the internet or on social media a little bit? A few people? So that's how I know. I definitely am in a bit of a bubble in tech in the Bay Area because I know there's a lot of people who are like freaking out about this stuff right now because images are being fed into these systems and people are coming up with art. Like there was just an art contest, I think it was in Arizona, and the generative art won the contest. And that was like completely mind-blowing. Like, so I could enter in one of these images that isn't my image, and I could say, well, that's my art. But it's not. It was made by referencing thousands of images on the internet and then coming up with this through visual search and then putting it all together. So I think it's a very interesting thing that's going to impact our business in ways that we may not even see yet. Because none of these photos were taken with a camera. Like, what? How's that even possible? Well, that was DALL-E. This is the system that I used. And you can use an image as the reference, or you can use language. So I said, okay, hold on a second. Like, what about sky replacements? I know everybody in here has done a sky replacement at least once, right? It's okay. I know we all do it. And I said, okay, what's the most beautiful sky I can imagine? I'm just going to say Arizona, sunset sky, golden hour, fluffy clouds, pinks and purples. I always wondered, I was like, is there a program out there where I could search for the type of sky I wanted, or sky from a particular location? And so I said, look, oh my gosh, look, it came up with Arizona sky. These are not photographs. These are processed and generated from open images out on the web. And then I did it again. I said, all right, well, Hawaii is super awesome. I love Hawaii. How about let's look at the Hawaiian sky? And because imagine you came home from that shoot and you didn't have the sky that you wanted, and you just didn't feel like anything that you already had was going to fit it either. So I said, let's try this out on a property. I had already delivered this one over the summer, but I was like, I'll just pop in that sky, right? And I was like, well, you know what? That actually kind of looks better than the one that I turned in. And it's artificially generated. It looks like a gradient sky, but at the same time, I was like, well, it's not real. Like, is that an ethical thing? But we're already replacing skies all the time. So anyway, a lot of questions came up for me around this. And I wanted to share this with you because it made me think, okay, that's just images. Well, what about generating staging? And it turns out that this is something that is also coming. Right? So here's an image that has gone through a AI-only pipeline with ODA Studio. Those guys are here. They're here in the audience as a sponsor. Sorry, I'm getting some clipping. And this is AI only. This went through their pipeline in just a few seconds, and it came out with this image. And this is one that was like AI plus humans. So the AI and human image, you can see like things are scaled a little bit differently. The color palettes are changed. So it takes a couple days for this image to come back. But the other one came back in seconds. Here's another one that was generated just with AI in just a couple of seconds, versus the one that had a human and AI component, right? So AI plus the human. Here's another one. I kept going. I actually delivered, not the AI, not these ones. I delivered the other ones to the client. I paid for them also, so this wasn't like, a promotion. I bought them and gave them to the client, and the client was really happy with them. So this one came, and I was like, that's pretty funny. This is the one that was done by the stagers, by the human and AI. So part of this is AI, part of this is human. And then it got crazy, and I said, well, what if I'm going to just take my AI staging another level? And what about AI-generated music? Like, maybe I don't want to license music, and instead I want some artificially generated music to accompany my images. My husband is a composer, right? So you can imagine his feelings about AI-composed music. He's like, Emily, it's like, you're killing my soul right now. But I was like, I know, man, but look, this is possible. So here we have our image, and sorry, it's loud. Yeah, sorry, guys. Audio, thank you. Let's go back. Let's just watch it one more time. But, keep it low. Okay. So AI staged, AI music, my photography, but a totally different story that you're telling. Sorry for the jump scare there with the music. The takeaways that I have here are that, and this is from also one of these fathers of virtual reality and all of these, technologies, Jaron Lanier, who I love Jaron Lanier's books. He's amazing, and he's always said he actually likes, one of the reasons he likes VR is because he likes the moment when he takes the goggles off and then he sees reality. That's one of the things he likes the most. But he says what makes something real is that it is impossible to represent it to completion. There's always something tiny bit off, and we can't put our finger on it. But I would say that right now, like, we're in really uncharted territory, both with like augmented reality, with digital media as a whole being able to be combined in new ways, and for us to see that things are going to keep evolving. And so I wonder, is it possible at some point to represent it to completion? Will the copy be just as good as the original? So with that,